Step 1, find and press this button, lower the wall jump and collect the chain off the boat. Now you have the chain off the boat, run over to the side of the church, interact with the side of this door here, then repair the chain and you can open this door. As well as that, you can also head over to the bridge and you can pick up this can of beans here and you can go and place it on the table in the village here. Once you've completed these steps, you want to skip over to round 10. A bear will come in and you need to kill the bear and pick up the part. Now that you have the part from the bear, make your way down into that room that you opened next to the church and start figuring out how to interact with the symbols. The order of the symbols as you come down the stairs is left, right, back, front. Once you've collected the 4 symbols in the right order, a ghost will appear. Follow the ghost to the lighthouse. The ghost will stop on the way to the lighthouse every now and again and act as a soul box. Just kill a few zombies and she'll move on. Keep following her and make your way all the way up to the top of the lighthouse. You can have a look at the boss for the first time here as well and get a nice little view of the rest of the map. Once you've followed the ghost all the way to the top of the lighthouse, you'll be able to go in this little room up the ladder where you'll have a little cutscene of the ghost charging the wonder weapon, and you can now pick up the wonder weapon. Once you have the wonder weapon, you'll get kicked out, make your way back up the lighthouse to the 2nd floor and you'll be able to pick up this crowbar here. There are now 3 boxes on the map, one of which will contain a bullet for you to get. You can open these boxes with the crowbar. The locations are as follows: F-Jaw Road, War Factory, Core Foundry. The box that contains the bullet will have a code at the bottom of the box. You can tell which one it is from this cheat sheet here. Open the box, get the bullet, make your way over to the lighthouse, interact with the back end of this giant railgun, then use the melee weapon to hit the railgun and the bullet will shoot out and it will shoot the head of this robot over here. Now that you've shot the head, you'll be able to search this area, keep searching until you find the transmitter and pick it up. Now that you have the transmitter, you need to make your way over to the giant robot again, go inside the head and start counting the flashing lights. The way to tell the frequency when counting the lights is that the right light will be the 2nd frequency code and the left light that's flashing will be your 1st frequency code. Once you've counted the amount of times the lights are flashing, come over to this machine and input it into the frequency. Once you've done this once, you'll get kicked out and you'll have to go back over to the robot, count the lights again and do it again. Once you've done it for the 2nd time, the robot will shoot off some rockets and you'll know the step is complete. Completing this step will give you the ability to call in a missile barrage, which we will be using later, but for now, go and grab yourself an RCXD, drive it through this grate here, and blow up the doors on the other side. Once you've blown up these doors, you'll be able to go into a new secret room where in this little hallway here, you'll be able to see some numbers on the wall labeled 1 to 5. You're looking for the number that has a little symbol next to it. These numbers correlate to A, B, C, D, and E. All you need to do is count the numbers that have the symbols next to them, figure out which letter that is in the alphabet, counting upwards, and find the heads that correlate to those numbers and stick them into this machine here. Once done correctly, you'll be given some purple glowing item, which you can then interact with this body over here to get another part for the Easter egg. Now it's time to go fishing. Find yourself a fishing rod from somewhere on the map. There are plenty of locations. Look around for a fishing spot location which has one of these green fish flopping about. Cast your fishing rod and catch it. It will then bring in an irradiated Ravager that you need to chase around and kill, which will drop a part for you. Pick up the uranium off the Ravager once killed. Once you've picked up your part off the Ravager, you want to grab one of these new gravity bell score streaks, activate it, and when the zombies are floating around the bell, You want to kill all the zombies, light up all 3 of the lights, and you will get another part for the Easter egg. Pick up the uranium and make your way over to this cage over here. Use the lockpick that we got from a body earlier. Unlock the cage and pick up the uranium from inside here. Now that we have the 3 uranium parts, we can use the new barrage score streak, blow off the doors here and interact with this crane machine. To complete this part of the egg, you need to line up all the canisters to match the power outage in the green. The best way we've found to do this is to have most of your canisters connecting and then 2 off to one side connecting by themselves. Once done correctly, you will be able to pick up the big canister and take it over to start charging it up. If you fail this step, you will get electrocuted and you will have to flip around to retry again. Once you've collected the canister, you need to bring it over to this location next to this generator, put it down and go and interact in this room with this machine to start charging it. Every now and again, the machine will get interrupted. You just need to run back, interact with it again, and do this as many times as necessary to fill up the canister. You can then pick up the canister again and you need to run it over to the bridge while avoiding these ice pillars that keep coming out the ground that will hurt you and knock you in the air. Once you get to the bridge, you want to interact with this barrel and you will put the canister down and the robot will shoot a laser beam at the boss in the background and you will be able to run over and pick up some meat. Find the meat by the foot over here, take it over to the longhouse. Interact with the fire pit and then use the Wonder Weapon's fireball melee attack to start a fire. You now need a disciple injection. One can be found in the church or you can craft one, and you need to throw zombies at the fire to start the spit rotating. Eventually you will be kicked out or it will start a lockdown where you have to kill an elite that will drop the sunstone for you. Once you have the sunstone, run back over to the church, interact with the table in the middle and melee it with the Wonder Weapon. After meleeing the table in the church with the Wonder Weapon, some runes and arrows will appear above the church. Use the arrows to figure out the rune order that you need. Use the lines on each of the arrows to tell what the order is. One line at the bottom of the arrow means that it is the first symbol, 2 lines means it's the second, and 3 lines means it's the third. Find the bonfires that have now appeared on the map and use the Wonder Weapon's fire attack to light the bonfires in the order of the runes that you found before. You can now go inside the robot once more and start the boss fight. Once in the boss fight, there's a couple of things to be aware of. There is a couple of different phases, but during all of these phases, there are areas that will be cold and will damage you and make you move slow. You can use the traps to heat up these areas and stop yourself from taking damage. For the majority of the boss fight, you're going to be switching between 2 phases, which is a phase where you can directly damage the boss by shooting the red crit spots that will appear in different spots on the boss. The other phase will be a floating head phase where there will be some floating heads on the map. You can't damage them directly, you need to throw either a grenade at them or use a score streak, or preferably use the Wonder Weapon's fire attack to bring them down and then switch to your normal bullet weapon and shoot them to destroy them. Once you've gone through a couple of these phases, you will then be trapped in the center area where you can damage the boss directly by shooting him in the face, and while you're doing this you will need to dodge a lot of incoming missiles from the boss as well. And if you survive all that, congratulations, you will have got your early completion for the map Totenreich.
Listen to me, you shape-shifting Schweinhund. You've in return what was stolen.
By your hands, the Dark Ether is unraveling.
We should be so fucking lucky.
Which would also mean the death of the fleeting pockets of reality you call home. Before we confront our former slave master, you will restore balance to this realm, as she foretold.
Wait. You expect us to save the Dark Ether?
You think you know this place? You do not. The Dark Ether is the source of all material existence. Without it, there can be no Big Bangs, no universes, no you.
We've dedicated our lives to ending this threat.
Then you've been fighting the wrong war. For to win it would mean the annihilation of all.
How is freeing your buddies causing this place to come apart?
Once, we were innumerable. Now only four. Through us, raw chaos and memories are given new form. Substance. Direction. Before imprisonment, our intent was focused by places of power. But now those are controlled by the man you call the Warden. With our temples in ruin, the loom of creation runs out of control.
How do we restart this engine?
Journey to the place of fire. Liberate my sister, and retrieve the World Seed. You will need it to cleanse the nexus of the rot that befouls it.